We need peace, we choose freedom. We need peace, we choose freedom. There was a nation living in peace and unity. Yeah. They are people with love and harmony. Oh, yeah. They saw greatness rise up to its purity. With another people of different culture, a different heritage, bias and oppressive. Oh, I see. A nation from trigger of Africa, rising with strength and might and power. In due time, nobody gonna praise us. Rather, you all gonna embrace her. With your flag, with your flag, with your flag, with your flag. Oh, yeah. Let the tears of our mothers who lost their children be heard. Let the blood of our heroes speak from now till forever. Let the whole wide world know Biafra is our home. Oh yeah, Biafra is our home. Oh, it's my home. Yeah, Biafra is our home. I
reminisce way back 1967. Death toll and the blood couldn't count them even. Mama screaming, child squealing, pops on the ground. 2.5 years, over 3 million's gone. Why? Cause we asked for our freedom, and we're going back to our sovereign kingdom. They shut us down when we cried, the world said nothing. Sitting back in the crib, watching our suffering. Should I talk about the planes dropping shells like rain? Suka had the first taste of a hero's blood. Abagana Zobuni wave was stronger than flood, but the juke is too strong and fought them off on the chart. Thought the bloodshed's gone, then it came again. 216 and the massacre, it started again. So bloody name, I couldn't cry tears. Blood dripping down my eyes, water in my veins. We died trying to fight the cause and we're trying to break him. It's our freedom, but the world was against us.
Wave your flag over Africa. Welcome people of Biafra. Wave your flag over all the world. See those people of Zion is here.
It is the nation that the Lord has chosen for the people of Zion. It is the nation that the Lord has chosen for the people of Zion.
We need peace, we choose freedom. We need peace, we choose freedom. Yeah. Let the tears of our mothers who lost their children be heard. Let the blood of our heroes speak from now till forever. Let the whole wide world know Biafra is our home. I see the rising sun from Africa. Oh, this is sign of victory. Oh, yeah. I see future in Africa. Oh yeah, people of Biafra. See light shining on the world. Oh yeah.
What's that, Master? We're not fighting each other. We know where we're going. We're going to get Biafra. There is nothing anybody can do about it. Absolutely nothing. Nothing. I need them to understand this. We've crossed the Rubicon, the point of no return. There is nothing anybody can do. If I'm alive, if I'm dead, if I'm wherever I may be, Biafra will come. If I'm dead, it's even better because it will come far more quicker. I can assure you. If Biafra is fighting for you, no one will touch your property. If you're fighting alone, you're bound to lose it. So Biafra is the best. We will become the 16th member country of ECOWAS. If Nigeria doesn't release those properties, then we'll take them to court and we'll get them back. Even twice the value. The Jews had investments all over the world. Most of the priceless artifacts and paintings belonged to many families in Germany. It was stolen by the Nazi Party. Do you know that? Eventually they got everything back with compensation on top of it. That's what we're going to do. If you touch our investments, we'll come back for you. And we'll know where we can get it from. So there is nothing for anyone to worry about. It's only if I'm not stopping you from being a Nigerian, if you are born on the streets of Lagos and you want to be a Lagosian and your name is Adamma, oh, well and good. There's no problem.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining us wherever you are joining from. I appreciate everyone that has connected to this program, wherever you are connecting from. Kindly like and share the program. Share to family and friends. Share to your neighbors. Share to everyone that is close to you. It is very important that you share this program so that we can be able to connect to people around the world. Because our message is not just meant for Biafrans, the message is meant for the whole world to hear our voice. Because we are in a very critical time, a very interesting time. A time that we cannot afford to be silent. A time that we cannot overlook anything comes our way. We are in a time that we need to take every single issue very, very serious. We have come a long way to get this far. And because of that, we must defend our freedom. We must defend our freedom the best way we can. So wherever you are and you're watching this program, I want you to invite someone to join us because it's going to be a very interesting one this evening. I'm not going to take much of your time. I'm just going to take a few moments to say a few words. And as always, we go into their media and listen to hear what is happening in their media. Will we continue to speak? Will we continue to talk? No matter the propaganda, no matter the blackmail, we will never back down. Do not be discouraged, even if you are alone and you are the only one watching. Just catch the message. Catch the message and share it with those you feel they have to listen. My job here is to speak, encourage those who need to be encouraged, inform those who need to be informed. So this evening, just like as we did in the morning, we talk about the British colonialism. We are exposing the colonialism of British, the hidden system dividing Nigeria against Biafrans. How it all started, that is what we have been talking about today. We spoke about it in the morning and we are speaking about it again this very evening. We cannot keep silent or pretend that these things are not happening. We cannot pretend. The problem that we are facing today is created by the British. The British created the problem that the Biafrans are facing today. It is the colonial master that put the division that you see today in Nigeria. They intentionally created the division so that we can be divided and it will be easy for them to rule. That is why we must continue to speak. One major criticism often raised against British colonial rule is that colonial policies strengthen regional division instead of building genuine nationality. That is true. The colonial administration governed different regions differently. The same way they did it in that time, that is the same thing that they are still doing today. Nigerian government is running in that very same formula, dividing and ruling. That is why nothing will work. The Biafrans have faced a lot of tragedy in Nigeria. And the most painful thing is that those that committed the crime are not ready to apologize or accept their responsibility. Let us talk about the Biafran experience in Nigeria. The Nigerian Civil War remains one of the most painful chapters in African history, following political crisis, ethnic violence, military coup, and counter coup in 1960s. Tension escalates rapidly. This is what happened. Many Biafran Southeasterners, especially Igbos, felt unsafe after widespread killing and unrest, targeting Igbo civilians in part of northern Nigeria. The Igbos were targeted everywhere in that contraption called Nigeria. And I am going to play a documentary that was left behind by our eternal leader, Nnamdi, for you to understand the level of the atrocities that were committed against us. Because sometimes when we talk verbally and read, you will not understand. You will not know how serious the matter was. Millions of Biafrans were displaced. Millions died. Trust between regions collapsed completely. All thanks to Gowon and the British. Eventually, the Eastern region declared the Republic of Biafra in 1967 under the leadership of Chukwuemeka Odumegwu, our eternal general. What followed was a devastating civil war. Gowon brought war to Biafrans. We never came out for war. We never planned to war anybody. From the beginning, there was never a plan to create Biafra. Ojukwu was trying to create a system where every region will govern themselves. The same system they are crying for today. Regionalism, that was what Ojukwu went for. They went to Aburi and signed. After signing, Gowon walked away from what he put his signature and signed. And just recently, he came and began to lie. Continue to lie. Every time they confront him, he's lying. But I thank Chukwu that our eternal leader left enough information. Transcript of the Aburi Accord is still available. And as he released his fraudulent book filled with lies and propaganda, as he released that book, more people are bringing out the evidence. More people are bringing out the transcript, and we are speaking about it. The crisis that Nigeria is facing today was caused by Gowon and the British. In fact, Gowon is supposed to go to the Hague. But it's unfortunate that today he's still parading himself as a leader. And his fellow criminals are donating money for him. He wants to go to his grave with his lie. But just as we have prayed, Chukwu will keep him alive to see Biafra come with his own eyes, in his own time. He will see what he did to himself. The war, the Biafran war, caused massive destruction, suffering, and humanitarian tragedy. Many families still carry the pain and trauma of that conflict till today. Even a decade after the war officially ended, many people argue that the wounds were never fully healed. And that is true. The wound of Biafra never healed. It has never, ever. And Nigeria doesn't want it to heal. He doesn't want it to heal. And this is where modern conversation about marginalization, restructuring, equity, and self-determination continue to emerge. Because the civil war was not healed. They continued the war even after Gowon fraudulently declared no victor, no vanquish. He continued the war. He continued. Till today, he continued. Because this book he wrote and the lie he's still against our eternal, there's still a war he's fighting. He's still engaged in that war, even at his old age. Another major topic people discuss is the role of Igbo entrepreneurship and economic resilience. Across Nigeria, internationally, Igbo community are often recognized for strong business network, trading culture, innovation, and adaptability. This is why many people hate them, not because we committed any crime. This is one of the reasons people are jealous. They are fighting against the Igbo tribe. Because Igbo communities are often recognized for strong business network, trading culture, innovation, and adaptability. They can't handle it. Ahmadu Bello saw it and he was mad. He began to instigate the North against the Igbos. A British man asked him, why are you so obsessed about the Igbos? He has nothing to say, only that we are too industrial, we are too hardworking. You put us on the ground, we will not stay ground, we will come up. After the Civil War, many Igbo families rebuilt their life from almost nothing. People admire that resilience. So many are jealous of it. They can't believe that we survived after the Civil War. And some also argue that economic competition and political rivalry sometimes created resentment and suspicion against successful groups within Nigeria. That is our case. They are fighting us because of what we stand for. And that is very common among any place where somebody is successful. When you are successful, it attracts envy, jealousy. That is what success attracts, more especially in Black Africans. When you are successful, you attract envy, jealousy, greed, and all whatnot. Throughout world history, economic imbalance and competition have often created ethnic tension in many societies. But the solution should never be hatred or division. In the case of Nigeria, they hate us. They want to exterminate us. They have planned genocide several times, and they are still planning it. Not because we committed a crime, but because we are resilient. The solution must always be justice, fairness, equal opportunity, and mutual respect. That is all we have been asking for many years now. No ethnic group should be demonized because of success, culture, and political opinion. We are hated because of our culture, because of our political opinion, because of what we believe. That is why we are hated. There is no other reason. We have not committed any crime against any man or woman, but they hate us because of our hard work. The Zoological Republic of Nigeria claims to be religious. It has a large amount of Muslims and Christian populations. Because religion is influential, politicians sometimes sometimes use religious identity to gain political support or create fear. That is the case of Nigeria. Using religion. Their election, as they claim, is coming next month. Already you have seen them throwing their banner, instigating violence, threatening genocide against the Igbos again. Even in 2025, they are still threatening genocide against us. In 2026, they are threatening genocide against us. Instigating violence, instigating their religious group against the Biafrans, Igbos, who are majority Christians. This has contributed to suspicion between communities. Some people fear domination, others fear marginalization, others fear political exclusion. In the case of Biafra, it is not just fear, it is something that has existed. They have put it in place. It is a system that have put in place in Nigeria from independent to date. Domination, marginalization, exclusion. A plan and system put in place by the British The British put it in place, and it's working for them, and they're happy. But ordinary Nigerians, whether Christian or Muslim, generally want peace, security, food, job, and stability. Other ordinary people, more especially in the southern part of Nigeria, ordinary people, all they are crying for and seeking for, simple, peace, security, food, job, stability. The same thing is what the Biafrans are asking for. The real challenge is how to build institutions that protect all citizens equally, regardless of ethnicity or religion. How do you build such institution? It can't happen. It cannot happen in Nigeria as long as Nigeria remains Nigeria. Until you disintegrate Nigeria and create country along value system, then and only then such value will be seen. Now, let me say something very important. When people feel unheard for too long, frustration grows. And when frustration grows without dialogue, extremism can emerge from different sides. That is dangerous for every society. The answer to national tension is not violence. The answer is dialogue, justice, constitutional reform, and responsible leadership. This is what Mazen Nnamdi Kanu and Simon Ekpa was asking. Instead of the Nigerian government listening, they kidnapped them, illegally convicted them, and jailed them. Simply because they are asking questions. They are calling for dialogue. They are calling for justice. They are calling for constitutional reform and responsible leadership. That is why they were jailed. African nation must learn to solve political problems through negotiation, inclusion, and democratic reform. But Nigeria prefer to discuss with terrorists, reform terrorists, negotiate with terrorists, dialogue with terrorists instead of dialoguing with responsible citizens. We have seen them on several occasions dialogue with terrorists, pay them compensation, reintegrate them. But when it comes to the people that are asking for a legitimate right, they unleash mayhem on them. They brand them terrorists, convict them through illegal means without a law, go extra mile with international conspiracy to arrest them and jail them. We will never forget. No country survives permanently through suppression alone. You cannot survive permanently through suppression. And no society can progress if citizens constantly feel excluded from national opportunities. I don't know how you want to progress. And that is why we are calling for the international community. The international community also has a responsibility. Global power often supports colonial arrangement in Africa without fully considering the long-term consequence of that arrangement. That is the major problem we're having. The global powers often support colonial arrangements in Africa without fully considering the long-term consequence. Even today, international actors influence African politics economically and diplomatically. But ultimately, Africa themselves must take responsibility for building fair society. Definitely. It is in our hand. That is why the Biafrans are taking the front stage to build a society where human beings can live. And except Biafra is free, Africa will remain in darkness. Biafra is the light, and the whole world knows it. No foreign government will fix Africa for Africans. That is why Biafra is taking the lead to take themselves away from the colonial master of Nigeria. Even when others have refused to go for their freedom. Africa must demand accountability from leaders. Africa must defend truth. Africa must promote justice and peace. But unfortunately, that's not the case. I urge every young people, wherever you are, to listen carefully. Do not allow politicians to turn you into instrument of hatred. The young people, the youth, they have succeeded in doing that in the northern part of Nigeria. You see people hating the Igbos, hating the Biafra for no just cause, for no reason. Just when they hear you identify as a Biafra, you become an enemy. Not because you did anything wrong to them, but because of what they were told. The youth must study history carefully. Every one of us, young people, we must study history carefully, because if you don't study carefully, somebody like Gowon, who is always trying to distort history, push lies by all means, and his fellow criminals are donating billions to that lie, to promote lie. If you do not study history, they will deceive you. The young ones should study history. Ask questions, read widely, understand different perspectives. I thank Chukwu Okeke that our eternal leader, Dim Odumegwu, left enough information. That is why everything that Gowon is doing today is irrelevant. Very, very much irrelevant. Do not blindly follow propaganda from any side. The future of Africa depends on informed young people who can think critically and build bridges instead of destroying society. Nigeria's future and African future requires courage, honest, and reform. Though Nigeria doesn't have a future, the future of Biafra is what Africa requires to grow. The future of Biafra. Biafra is what Africa needs to grow. And the future of Biafra requires courage, honesty, and reform. We, the Biafrans, we must be courageous. We must be honest and sincere. True unity cannot exist without justice. People must feel represented. People must feel respected. People must feel safe. People must believe that opportunity are fairly distributed. If citizens lose faith in national institutions, tension will become the order of the day. Tension will continue to rise. That is why many people continue calling for restructuring, constitutional reform, regional autonomy, political dialogue. And for we, the Biafrans, self-determination. And we will never stop. In this month of remembrance, we will step up our request, step up our game, and the world must listen, whether they like it or not. Whether one agrees or disagrees with our demands, they cannot simply be ignored. Silencing conversation does not solve problem. Dialogue solves problem. Justice solves problem. Fairness solves problem. And as long as they refuse to dialogue and face reality, we will never forget. This evening, let me say this clearly. History should not be feared. History should not be feared. When you are afraid of history, like Nigeria is afraid of history, hiding it in order to push their lies. History should not be feared. Open discussion should not be criminalized. Nation becomes stronger when citizens can discuss difficult issues honestly and peacefully. The Zoological Republic, as they claim, is one of the African important countries with numerous human talents, culture, richness, and economic potentials, more especially in Biafra land, the southern part of Nigeria as a whole. But lasting peace and unity requires trust. And trust can only grow where justice equality and fairness exist. But you can't find this in Nigeria. Then, what does that tell you? There will never be any peace. There will never be justice. There will never be trust in the Zoological Republic. We will never forget. Let us reject hatred, let us reject violence, and let us reject tribal supremacy like the Fulanis are pushing. They call themselves born to rule. If it is not them, nobody comes there. And let us continue to demand truth, accountability, fairness, genuine dialogue for the future generations. Wherever you are watching this program from, I urge you never to give up. Continue to pay attention. This is a very sensitive week, and we will continue to bring informations. I want us to listen to this very interview that our eternal leader, Dim Ojumegojugo, granted. An eye-opener. As Gowon is telling his lies, we are following him bomber to bomber to debunk it. Listen to this interview, live interview that was granted by our eternal leader, Dim Ojumegojugo. And this criminal, Gowon, was alive then. He never said a word. He never said a word. Somehow he feels that our eternal leader is not around now, so he can come to create a different narrative. You can't change the narrative, not when we are still alive. You cannot.
The first massacre of Igbos in North killed. So if these figures we're looking into, certainly they were very heavy. But when we're talking of genocide, it is intent that really matters. There was no distinction. The mere fact that you were an listener in those days labeled you fit only for one thing: death, and death at the hands of the Nigerian authorities. The Igbos and their associates were killed in practically every village in northern Nigeria. They were killed in many places in western Nigeria. Lagos, even on Kata Bridge, the very center of Lagos, people were looked at and thought, oh, this looked an Igbo, and killed. The very first army officer killed in Lagos, actually, during that time was from Calabar, was killed on the bridge, and so on. Igbos were being hunted out and killed. The Igbos that remained in Lagos after the war began were herded together and detained without any trial or anything. No question of any legal rights. Till today, property of Igbos are still sequestered in various areas of Nigeria, and they have not been released, not all of them, to the Igbos, the original owners. But they were quite certain. In fact, the only reason it is not called or not accepted as genocidal is because of the Cold War. At that time, anything ethnic based was almost like an insult to humanity, and ethnicity became a term of abusive politics. That's all. If it were today, certainly, what happened in Nigeria is much, much worse than what you have seen of Rwanda, not to talk about Eastern Europe.
You have just heard the report from our eternal leader, Dim Ojumegojugo. Very, very clear. And whenever he comes out to speak, he makes the information very clear and very sound in his speech. He doesn't miss word. Compare it to when Gowon comes to lie. He becomes a stammerer. Compare it to when Gowon comes to lie. Like this very one I'm going to play, you will see where Gowon came on to lie. The speech of our eternal leader, very clean, and he doesn't miss word. Listen to Gowon.
Start of the war, Many analysts have suggested that if the Aburi Accord had been implemented, the tragedy of the Civil War might have been averted, and they blame you for reneging on that Aburi Accord. Is that how you see it? Did your government renege on the Aburi Accord?
Well, I think that is the interpretation. I do not know whether that accord was the actual final result written from it was not to be done until after we got home.
But you agreed to the accord when you were in Gaza?
No, this is what the accord. It is not a question of agreement. Accord. Yes, it is when we come back home.
You see him stammering. They ask him, did you agree with the accord or not? He said it's not a question of agreeing, that they say when we come home, it will be announced. The simple question, because he has been making the argument that he did not agree, that what Ojukwu presented was not what they agreed. And he cannot show us what they agreed. Gowon has not shown us the transcript. He has not told us what was agreed. Somebody is interviewing Gowon here, asking him, did you agree in the accord when you went to Aburi? He said it's not a question of agreeing, that the agreement is when they come back, it will be announced. And you are going to listen to the reason he gave for not announcing. Very shameful, very shameless human being. Very shameless human being. He couldn't answer that question. Did you agree or not? He said it's not a question of agreeing. You can imagine. That is not a question of agreeing. That they say when they come back, they announce. Did you agree to that announcement or not? Why didn't you announce when you came back? I want you to hear this liar. You know liars, when they stammer, you know they are lying.
Not to be done until after we got home.
But you agreed to the accord when you were in Gaza?
No, this is what the accord. It is not a question of agreement.
Imagine, he's stammering.
It is when we come back home, and I made a statement. When we come back home, and I make a statement about the Aburi.
That's why it was called an accord. An accord means that you had agreed.
It's not the word accord. But then it has to be.
Just imagine, a simple question he couldn't answer. This is the idiocy of this man. Very shameless human being, that today he is still lying. He is still lying because our eternal leader is not around. He came out again to lie. He came out to lie against our eternal leader. A shameless man who will go to his grave with shame. At this age, you are supposed to be mending your evil. You are supposed to be apologizing. You are supposed to be praying for forgiveness. And he pretends to be a Christian, carrying Bible. There was a time he said he wants to go and pray in the southeast, and we warned him not to step into the southeast because his hands are stained with blood. Not only that, he has not repented. Listen to the interview that was granted to this fool. He suddenly turned to a stammerer. He couldn't make a complete sentence.
Well, I think that is the interpretation. I do not know whether that accord was the actual final result written from it was not to be done until after we got home.
But you agreed to the accord when you were in Gaza?
No, this is the accord. It is not a question of agreement. Accord. Yes, it is when we come back home, and I made a statement. When we come back home, and I make a statement about the Aburi.
That's why it was called an accord. An accord means that you had agreed.
It's not the word accord. But it has to be done in Nigeria before Friday. Yes,
so you needed to come with us and discuss it.
Unfortunately, it's not.
Imagine.
People doesn't want to believe it. I was having a serious attack of kind of fever or whatever it is.
Imagine.
I could not make any decision.
Did you hear the idiot? That the reason he could not be able to announce the Aburi Accord was that he had fever when he came back. It was a fever. Somebody who is a head of state say he had fever. Because of the fever, that was why he could not be able to announce the Aburi Accord. And he denied everything. Okay, after your fever left you, what did you do? He denied everything. This, when you see a liar, look at him going to his grave. And the Chukwuokike will keep him. He will see this same Biafra he fought. That promise that Dean Odumogoju made for him. He will see Biafra with his own eye come. An evil man that doesn't have repentance.
You don't know at home. You wouldn't be around in home. And Tojuku was one who then, when he came, he went and made from the day to say, made a statement. With the made a statement.
Just tell me, what could have been more dangerous than this? In the heat of Nigeria's most critical political crisis, when the fate of the United Nations hung by a thread to men stood at the center of history, the Aboriginal call held in faraway Ghana was supposed to be a handshake that would have saved Nigeria from civil hate. Just days later, it all fell apart. But what really happened after that historic meeting? Why was the agreement never fully honored? And here's the twist: General Yakubu later said he couldn't make the crucial public announcement about the Aboriginal call because he had another 50 years. You heard that right, fever at the height of the nation's crisis, as Nigeria pleaded on the
Imagine fever stop you from announcing
that a severe attack of malaria prevented him from addressing the nation as promised, leaving the media space while Okufoju to save the narrative and lay the groundwork for what would become a
Imagine this man. He has the audacity to come and tell the world that it's because he had fever. Okay, after when you recovered, what did you do? Today, you are even denying the content of the Aburi Accord, telling us what you agreed on, what you did not agree, lying about every single thing in that Aburi Accord. And you think we will fold our hand and watch you. Our eternal leader, Dean Odumogoju, knew that today will come. And he left us with more than enough information. So there is no lie Gowon will tell today that we don't have an answer to it. With all his denial, I want you to hear from our eternal leader, Dean Odumogoju, what transpired. Gowon was around when he made this interview. Did he talk? No. He waited. And today, he's coming to talk. Lies.
But at the end of it, I want to go because these things are all, the tapes are available. The records are there.
The records are there. The tapes are available.
In fact, only about 2 weeks ago, I saw it set on the records again. The transcripts are available. But we talked about the Nigerian situation. And certainly, at the end, everybody says, oh, you told them this, you did that. The fact was that our case was so clear that I actually believed at the end of Aburi that the problem was not the one, but probably some ambassadors in Lagos who were pressing for something else. Because we understood each other, we agreed on every single point. The drafting was, in fact, my chief secretary with 2 other chief secretaries from the other side. They said, no. And drafted and agreed, we looked at it, we agreed. General Lankra read over the whole report again to us and asked us if we wanted to amend anything, no. At the end of all that, the position was so good that actually Ankara drove Jack and Wan and myself to the airport Jack was sitting on his left, I was sitting on his right. He was in the middle. And in the course of that journey, at a point, General Ankara shook his head. I said, oh, thank you. Thank you. If only we can go on like this, everything will be all right. I was the one, as I do now from time to time, I go for the dramatic. Suddenly I picked up the one's head, put it on Ankara's lap, brought my other hand and placed it on it. And I said, General Serpa, hold us together, I want to say something. So General Ankara put his hand on top of the two ends. And I said, General, I want to assure you that I am totally satisfied with everything we said. I will even go further and say to you something I did not say at the conference, and that is that once we have implemented everything we have said, I would ask you for one favor and one favor only. And that would be to be the one to propose Jack Gawan as a head of state of Nigeria.
It was a 2-day conference of peers and old mates, but its aftermath produced even further controversy.
When we came back, Ojukwu did not go to make the statement he made first, virtually giving the impression that we've agreed for confederation to move apart, etc., which was really not exactly that. If I had had the opportunity to make my broadcast first, because that was the agreement, not for him to make the broadcast first, then if I had committed myself to what he said, then that would not have been any problem. But he went and said certain things that certainly looked wrong, and therefore we saw in practically everything he did. I think it was for to play up to the gallery, not being sincere.
At Abruzzi, yes, we agreed on area commands for the armed forces. At Abruzzi, we agreed that the police force would be decentralized. We agreed on those. Yes. We agreed, even to show that we didn't separate at Abruzzi, we also agreed on certain revenue formula. That's what happened at Abruzzi. Abruzzi again, because I always end up, this sounds odd today, but I always end up saying I must have been naive, because I believed actually that would be the end. I'll confess to you, when I got back to Igbo, oh yes, I had a party, believing that probably the danger was over. That's what we thought. Until they then began to deny everything. It was the denial of Nigeria that made me publish the tapes of Abruzzi, because we had insisted that each one should have a set of tapes. Everybody talks about confederation. Go and look at the transcript. There is no time that the word confederation came from my lips.
In protest, Abruzzi changed the title of head of state from Supreme Military Commander to Commander-in-Chief, gave the regions control over internal affairs, and concurrence of each region was not required for any decision affecting the whole country.
You have just heard it. Our eternal leader opened the whole information and made it clear. Unlike when Gowon was talking, he'll be stammering because he's lying, almost forgetting what was happened. But the most important thing is that there is a transcript on that Aburia call. Why is it that Gowon is not publishing the transcript? Let us see if what he has is different from what our eternal leader published then. And if it was different, he should have published it when our prime supreme leader was around, when our eternal leader was alive. He made these interviews. He released the transcript. Why didn't Gowon bring the one he claimed that was doctored? And what was those things that he said our eternal leader changed? Because our eternal leader mentioned specifically what was agreed. And he said it, that he never anytime talked about separation, confederation. It never came out from his mouth. And even to make sure that what they agreed was not to divide Nigeria, they agreed on a formula, revenue formula. Because Gowon was trying to paint it that our eternal leader came and began to talk about separation. There was nothing less. It was a regional government that was agreed. Restructuring that they are calling for today. That was what they agreed in Apuri. And revenue formula was agreed on. You heard they are trying to say that they agreed on a revenue formula. But this clown refused and caused the war that is people are still fighting to today. The war that is still ongoing in Nigeria today is caused by Gowon. Gowon caused the war you are seeing that is happening. The terrorism that is happening in Nigeria today, the insecurity, the Christian genocide that is happening is caused by Gowon. That man is supposed to be in The Hague. I don't know why he's still moving around. He's supposed to be in The Hague answering questions. Gowon is supposed to be in The Hague answering questions of what he did, of the genocide he committed against the Biafran people. We will never forget. We will never forget. No matter what they do, we will never forget. We are in a very sensitive and critical month. A very important month. A month we remember our heroes and we will never forget. We will continue to remember our heroes. We will continue to make sure our voice is heard. No matter their propaganda, no matter their blackmail and their lies, we will not allow their lies to fly. As they continue to lie, we will continue to bring the truth to the world. Make sure that the world knows the truth. That is why we are here. Nigeria is irredeemable. It is gone and gone for good. The only solution to the contraction called Nigeria today remains disintegration, whether they agree or not. It will happen. It's a question of time. It will definitely happen, whether they like it or not, whether they agree or they don't. It will definitely happen. And the clock is ticking. The clock is ticking so fast, very fast. The clock is ticking. It's going to happen. Whether they agree or they don't, it is going to happen. And the time is drawing very close. Now, let us listen this very information from their own media. You know, we use their own word to judge them. Let us watch and hear what they had to say on this platform.
300 citizens from South Africa following attacks on foreign nationals. Foreign Minister Samuel Oputa Panel announced the move on X. We had earlier condemned xenophobia at the 3I Africa Summit, saying Africa cannot speak about trade while failing to welcome one another. About 800 people registered for departure. No new date has been announced. The South African President Cyril Ramaphosa condemned what he called a violent protest and criminal acts, saying they do not reflect his policies. Experts warn that prolonged tensions could slow Africa's fintech integration agenda. The CEO of PayStar Ghana says frameworks like the African Continental Free Trade Area have created progress, but xenophobia could obstruct further efforts. US Africa journalist Eden Harris joins us now from Washington, D.C. for a chat on this topic. So having with us, Eden. Very good. So, earlier it must have been a bitter pill for Ghana to issue instructions for a recall of its citizens, but that has now been, turned around. But what is the likely impact on fintech integration push when you have xenophobia scenarios like that?
Yeah, so most people think that fintech and diplomacy are separate stories, but they're not. Cross-border payments and digital banking expansion and like startup scaling and regional investment, it all depends on trust between African states. And as you mentioned, the CEO of the PayStack Ghana basically said that there has been so much cross-border matters happening, and it's been helpful, but now it's possible that it will slow down, like passing certain legislation and allowing that cross-border trade to happen seamlessly.
Good to see you again, Eden. Now, looking at all of this xenophobic attack, what would you point as the main issue? Is it economic? Is it, what exactly is the major challenge causing the xenophobic attack? Because this isn't the first time we will be having this.
Yeah, the core issue is colonialism. It never truly left Africa. It shows up in how people see themselves when it comes to colorism. It shows up when people are looking for jobs, and like what I mean by that, there's always an excuse or reason why someone is getting a job and why someone is not. It's a way to divide and conquer, and that's what's happening. That's what you're seeing currently in South Africa. Mainly folks are saying, Nigerians or Ghanaians are taking out jobs, and it's a bigger institutional problem that's happening that's causing their local economy and lower jobs to be where it is. It's not people coming.
Despite the institutional problems, Eden, there's been some progress for cross-border fintech growth within the African continental free trade area. So how could this be sustained despite the threats of xenophobia, not only in South Africa, but in other, African states as well?
Conversation. Going back to soft power, diplomacy, talking among each other, and really getting to the root cause of why one nation in Africa is having economic hardships, and basically coming to the table and seeing how people can work together. That's something that I wrote in my article that we're talking about. It's about having those conversations and really addressing the core issues that Africans, not only in South Africa, but in Ghana and Nigeria are facing.
I'm talking about, fintech and also the Africa free continental free trade, trade. What do you think, to what extent do you think that this can resolve the issues, especially when we talk about the economic phase or dimension of this challenge?
So the free trade agreement has been working, and when I spoke to the local fintech leader in Ghana, he basically said that it has been creating pathways for license passporting, and basically what that means is when someone has a fintech license, let's say in Nigeria, they're able, depending on their contract with the nation, to like operate in someone else's country with like fewer restrictions, and it's just easier to get business, to like get your business off the ground. I think the solution is like going back to the table, or like going back and seeing like how these agreements benefit the continent, and leaning into that when it comes to like solving problems of unemployment, creating those pathways for entrepreneurs to thrive, and that's pretty much the core. Like every solution and like every problem that's happening in Africa, there is a solution in Africa, and leaders need to realize that.
And talking about diplomacy shaping markets, can you expatiate on that? Just saw that little piece on your article earlier.
how diplomacy. Okay, so I pulled in some pretty prominent people for this article. I spoke to Whitney Schneidman, who is the former deputy Assistant Secretary of the State for African Affairs at the U.S. State Department. I spoke to Wali Shadidin, who's a special envoy on trade and investment for Sierra Leone. I spoke to Benin's former ambassador to the U.S., and they all say that deals happen in Africa through diplomacy. There is like nothing that can get passed or like people can't integrate without having those conversations and talking, and that is like the key pillar of diplomacy. You have three leaders who are in prominent positions coming together and saying the same thing. They have Africa and African background, and they have a passion for Africa. Again, like solutions are already in Africa, so people have to like lean into that.
But I wonder if you see governments becoming more cautious about opening up their economies, especially when it comes to fintech and, you know, commercial activities, looking at all of these attacks.
I don't have, I can't predict the future, you know, and it will be hard for governments right now in this moment to get in the flow like they were before, because they have shifted to evacuating their citizens, and they have to find a way to quell tensions. When that is like worked through, beautiful things will continue to happen in Africa, and governments will be able to come back together and make the best that they can make when it comes to fintech integration, when it comes to, as the Minister of Ghana said, pushing the continent to financial emancipation, economic emancipation.
All right, hopefully you can do this in 1 minute. The role of technology in fintech, we've seen an emergence of technology being used greatly here. So how has that impacted, especially on small business in Africa?
It's had a tremendous effect when businesses are able to come together and integrate, and as I mentioned, like do passporting, licensing, passporting. It creates jobs. FinTech has been a breakthrough resolution for the continent and getting people who are underbanked and unbanked, having financial inclusion put into, having people benefit from financial inclusion and so on.
I'd like to thank you for your thoughts on this issue and
No matter what they do or what they say, the restoration of Biafra is key. When Biafra is restored, xenophobia will stop. Freedom will come back to Africa. Everything that's happening in South Africa today has everything to do with the colonialism. What is happening in South Africa has everything to do with the colonialism. And to wipe it away until Nigeria is disintegrated and decimated, nothing is going to work. And the world should pay attention and hear it clear. They can continue to pretend for all I care. But until they do the right thing, it will continue to haunt them. Let us hear a message from our supreme leader, Nnamdi, for us to understand.
But you're supposed to come in the Republic of Biafra to South of them. There is nobody called South. Just geography. We are in geography. We cannot point to South. I mean, the state of Nigeria, there's 62 so we have to face the fact that there's 62 and the minorities in the former Eastern region have been pushed under the South. Who is the minority? The short, the fix. The minority against you. I'm saying, they include, I'm asking you, you're a journalist, minority against you. I cannot be in my father's compound because I'm a minority. Minority, there has to be a definition. What we are looking at here is a definition drawn up by people who are alien to our way of life. I have said it before, I said it last night, and I will repeat it. The word Jew is what is called a corrupted version of Judah. In Israel, Judah is only that one tribe. But the name Judah took over everybody else, either by commission or omission. I need to answer your questions. When you come to the question, we can say that tomorrow morning. We're not going to Jews took over. It doesn't mean that the other tribes are not there, like Benjamin and all the rest of them. They are still there. Nobody has been able to disprove me that the people of Benjamin, Ibibio, and Igbo people are from one family. Nobody has disproved it. They are one people. All this minority report was brought by the British. The British gave us a minority. You know the reason why? They wrote the minority report saying that the Calabars in Akwa Ibom, if they go, what is going to happen to them? And when I was studying in England, many years ago, something occurred to me. Why did you not have a minority commission in the north? Where you have the TV people, the Nupe people, the Wari people, the Biro people, why no minority commission? Why minority commission here? It is the classic divide and rule. They found oil. The only way to have access to the oil is to divide. Very simple. If I want to come to your family and take something from you, I'll get in touch with your brothers. You're fighting and cutting away what you have. So that was why they set up minority commission. There is a difference in emphasis because you see African people some come to teach you. And I'll tell you why I use that very that. A change or slight variation in language does not mean you're a different people. It doesn't mean that at all. In Israel, they have Yiddish. They have Hebrew. When Christ was on earth, he was not speaking Hebrew, he was speaking Aramaic. Does that mean he is not an Israeli? Does that mean that those that speak English are not Jewish people? Does it mean if you speak Hebrew, you don't belong? So why is it that when you speak Hebrew, you speak Hijab, you speak everything different? But in Israel, you have Hebrew, you have Yiddish, you have Arabic, but they're still the same. Do you see why I say I'm an educated man? I study to acquire knowledge. I just don't read to pass. I study to acquire knowledge. Why is it if you go to Soka, we can pay for your ticket, you go to Soka. If they speak Igbo, if you hear one word, then you want to speak. The Igbo language is out of this world, completely different. Do you know, I'm from Igbo. My mother is from Igbo, so is my father. And father, where I come from, our own accent and dialect is different from where my mother comes from. Does it mean we are different countries? My dear brother, the job is on people. People from over out of Chibu and are the same brothers, the same father, but not the same mother. The same mother gave birth to 3 sons. One stayed at Chibu as the first son. One went to Owerri. One went to Aluchibu. If you come from that part of the world, including Calabar, you come from Aluchibu, go and ask them, they'll tell you. That's where they come from. Did they fall from heaven? How did they get to where they are?
You just heard it. This is part of the evil that the colonial master committed against us. The part of the evil we are fighting, that the British and Gowon created. This is one of the problems they created, that the zoo is still suffering today. That is what Mazen Nnamdi can explain. You have minority commission in old southeastern region. Why don't they have it in the north? In the northern part of Nigeria, they have more different dialect, ethnic group than we have in the south. Why is it that in the east, why did they have minority commission in the east? Just to divide us. All thanks to British and Gowon. Part of the crime of Gowon. This is the month of remembrance, and we will never forget. We will keep on going back to history so that we will not allow history to repeat again. That is why we are going back to history. And we will continue to go back to history to bring informations. Maybe you have forgotten. When you watch it and see, you remember where we are coming from. And remember that we will never forget. we will keep the memory alive.
You, until recently, was the chair of Amotekun in your state, right? Yeah, for some time. For some time. So what can you say about security around your state and Amotekun? Until I left, the security was still not okay. There is the influx of this woman in the house. And I was shouting. I gave a lecture somewhere. And I quoted Abasha. He said, if you are fighting security and it lasts more than 4 weeks, the government is behind it. Explain. The federal government was behind the influx of Fulani to the southern part. When you say Fulani headsmen, men with cow, they call them Fulani headsmen. Some of them don't even have cows. But they were coming fully armed. Fully armed. AK-47. And you said Buhari government was involved. Wait. That time, everybody was complaining. That time, the government announced that everybody should submit their weapons to the police. Now, people are complaining that time. I'm saying this thing. There was a meeting in Kanu. They said they are full now. Full now, the national movement. In their community that time, it's about 5-6 years ago, that Allah has given them the land of Nigeria.
Did you hear it?
As inheritance. And that they have told all Fulani in West Africa, Sub-Region and Central Africa to start coming to Nigeria, to come and take over what Allah has given them as inheritance. That's the land of Nigeria. And that when they are coming, they should come fully armed. That's the only language Nigerians understand. Violence. It is in their community. All that time, people were shouting. Yagba didn't say a word. But when people challenging once, why are these people who carry AK-47? He said they are using it to protect their cows. Was it true? Of course, not. Very, very false. Now, General Buhari, I know he has a very close relationship with the Bishop of Canterbury. Now, when he went to UK, during one of his beloved treatment,
when you listen carefully, you still see that the insecurity has everything to do with the United Kingdom. Anytime you talk about Nigeria insecurity, United Kingdom has a role to play. And the Fulanis will never stop. This is the first commander of Amotekun. The first man that commanded Amotekun. He had to resign because of this very issue. When he discovered that Nigerian government is the one sponsoring the jihad against the people, he resigned because they didn't allow him to work.
he told Bishop of Canterbury that it is not Fulani harassment that are killing people. There's some group trained by Gaddafi, who the Gaddafi has armed. They are the one that infiltrated the Fulani harassment. They are the one doing the killing. What did you discover? I was discovering somebody who was saying, general is a soldier for Nigeria. Asking that in the military, when foreigners enter your territory, carry arms, what is it? You are told in the military. They describe us as invaders. And what did the military say we should do with them? We are to hunt them down like rabbits and eliminate them. I said, go and meet Buhari and ask him. Did they hunt them down? Who are the people doing the kidnapping? Who are the people? They like refer to them as bandits. Who are the people carrying out the banditry? Are they in our forest around here? The entire Yoruba land is occupied. As we are talking now? As I'm talking to you. General Togun? Yes. So when you were in Amoteco, did you try to tackle them? Cooperation from who? From Oyo State Governor? Government, yes. Oyo State Governor? Yes. How? I can't start all this. At least give us a hint. What is it that you wanted? Oh. I wanted NCOs of the military, non-commissioned officers, to be recruited, to be put as coordinators in the very local government. I wouldn't achieve that. Why? What was the reason? They were not available to be recruited or what? They are available. Now, I don't want to talk more about this. I said they are supposed to be zonal commanders. And I wanted the retired combatant officers of the rank of captain or major to be zonal commanders of Amoteco in various zones. You did achieve that. I did achieve it. I don't want to delve much in that area. But are we under threat in the southwest? We are still there.
You can see it when this man made this revelation. It is long ago. When he made this revelation about Oyo and what is happening, it's long ago. But today, you saw what is happening in Oyo. They kidnapped school children, teachers, and they beheaded a teacher. That is the first commander of Amoteco confessing there and talking about the challenges he faced. And you think this is a joke. Don't worry. It will get to everybody. When it gets to your own domot, then you will understand.
And let me tell you this. For you had not been like that. For you had not been like that. God. The number of people in the people that day on a during this time.
What would have happened if we didn't declare Biafra?
Oh, those who have been able to.
By
By the people. It was that bad. Because they so believe in that God. Because remember, the problem did not cause the war. Yes, we saw the killings was one. 50,000 people killed in one day, in one meeting, September 29. But we said, okay, these had been brewing for a long time. Now they find their food, no problem. Now let's sit down and try to manage our own small corner. And they find how we relate to each other. That was our brewing. So, what do we say confederation? What do you what is our stories? Like I told you, go on, did that thing. It happened. To get these people out of so-called Fulani domination. He saw a path and he took that's why we have it's not a fool. He was there when this was discussed. Then, oh, you went to the press first, and to school first, rubbish. The guy could not be trusted. He couldn't be trusted to take charge of his own son. They put the woman in another marriage. What's the place? She got pregnant, had a child, and he took the child for 40 years. Who does that? So, he's a liar. The same thing happened after the war. We saw with the film, we got to distracted about the treaties and all of that. Not that, and he got something else. You can't trust that man. That was the whole thing. So let's let it play where it is. Ojuku has no problem with many of them. But in this particular issue, Ojuku was the last Biafra. He was the last Biafra. He never believed the moment sent soldiers. He was trusted.
You have had it. Informations people are exposing go on, and everybody know he's a liar, a very big one at that. And as he's lying, we will continue to follow him bomber to debunk all the lie he has told. We will never forget. This is the month of remembrance. We will never forget. We will never forget. And we are going to.
Quite a lot of those were killed during the July program. And I myself, I'm not an Igbo man, but I was to be killed also, and I just managed to escape. And a few of yours escaped, but very many. Those that were killed came from what was then eastern Nigeria. For instance, Major Rock is now an Igbo man, but he was killed. Major was killed in Kaduna. Major Kanu was killed in Lagos, and he's not an Igbo man. And several others like that. I'm trying to say that the people, the officers came not just from one tribe, but from the eastern Nigeria then was lucky.
You have heard it. That is General Effiong speaking. That is General Effiong speaking, that he himself narrowly escaped death. Nigeria was trying to eliminate anybody from the old Southeastern region, not just the Igbo people. You think it's just about the Igbo, not just the Igbo people. Because they know that all of us from the old Southeastern region, we are brothers and sisters. Just like Mazi Nnamdi said. We are one people. There is nothing like minority among us. We are one people. And what Effiong, General Effiong said in this video, confirm it that we are one people, one family. And that is how the Janjaweed see us. When we divide ourselves, they laugh at us because they know we are one people. They know we are one people. So whenever we are dividing ourselves, they will just sit by the side and be laughing at us. You see why every one of us must focus, pay attention, and remain consistent no matter what happens. Let's watch a little bit about this particular.
What witness was it? Second or third?
What you are seeing here is Oputa Panel. Just watch this section of Oputa Panel for you to see what transpired. It will give you light on the irredeemable Nigeria and their evil.
Tell the Honorable Commission where you were between the 14th and 16th of January 1966. Whether you are in Lagos, in Enugu, or in Kaduna.
My Lord, I have made exhaustive statement on this issue.
cross-examination. You can't make a statement. You don't know what the question they will ask you. Answer his question. That's one by one.
All right. I was at Kaduna.
And you are a party to the preparation and execution of the attempted coup of January 15th, 1966.
I was a party to the failed coup of January 1966.
Yes. Your final plan towards the coup was discussed and agreed upon during your exercise at Katia.
There is no truth on that at all.
Okay.
I did not go to Katia for any exercise to start with.
Very good.
I attended a battle group course at Oputa.
No, you have answered the question. In Kaduna, the operation or the attempted coup was led by Major Chukuma Nzegu.
Correct.
After the Premier of Northern Nigeria, late Sir Ahmad Bello, was murdered along with his wife, and the Governor of Northern Nigeria was arrested, Chukuma made a broadcast suspending the government of Northern Nigeria.
That is correct.
He also suspended the legislature of Northern Nigeria.
That is absolutely correct.
In Ibadan, one Captain Nwogosi led the operation where the Premier Chiba Kitola was killed.
That is correct.
But the government of Western Nigeria was not suspended. If you know, if you don't know, say you don't know.
It is not a question of not knowing or knowing. I know it was not
Suspended, very good.
because of.
No, that's all right. That's all right. That's all right. Now, at the federal level, the President, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, was out of the country. The Prime Minister, late Sir Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, and the Honorable Minister of Finance were murdered or were killed, and the federal government was not suspended.
At the federal level.
Yes.
Ironsi aborted the coup. So, and Ironsi took over, isn't it?
He aborted the coup.
He aborted the coup of January 66.
Yes, at the time, those who organized the coup suspended the government of Northern Nigeria. The federal government was not suspended.
The coup took place on the 14th, 15th night.
Yes.
By the following day, Zongo made a broadcast.
When did
By the following day, Ironsi had aborted the coup in Lagos.
Are you aware of the fact that Major General Ironsi announced that the power was handed over to him by the remaining members of the Council of Ministers through Dr. Orizu? Are you aware?
My lord, Ironsi was not part of us.
I didn't say he was part of you.
Ironsi was a reactionary.
Listen to the question.
What he said or what he did was his business.
It is also the business of this commission. It is our business. If you know, please answer you know. Were you aware that Ironsi announced that the remaining members of the Council of Ministers through Dr. Orizu,
I heard it over the radio.
very good, handed over power to him to restore...
I heard it over the radio.
Thank you very much. It was because Major General Ironsi aborted the coup and declared the organizers of that coup as mutineers. That was why you people were arrested.
And detained, yes.
Yes. You were detained, but you were never tried.
You are absolutely correct.
Yes. Now, it is also correct that 4 senior commissioned and competent military officers in Lagos, Brigadier Mamadari, Colonel Kur Mohammed, Lieutenant Colonel Pam, and Lieutenant Colonel Lagerma, were killed during that.
You are very correct. But let me add.
No, I don't want you to
must
add. I don't want you to add, please.
But I must add.
You answered my question.
My lord, this is an occasion for valid information.
You had your time. You had your time. This is my time, please.
I must add to clarify what you are saying.
My lord, let him answer
I
my
must give
question.
you information. You talked about our not being.
Hold it, please. Keep it cool. I thought we were on a fine facting crusade.
Exactly, I must add.
So can you prevent him adding to the fact that we help us? But if it's a catechism, yes and no.
Yes.
Yes, it's a straightforward question. I don't know what he wants to add, my lord.
Well, under the rules of examination and cross-examination, you allowed the witness answer your question.
And he answered my question.
The way
I have not finished. I must add that we were not tried. But even when Gawan took over after the overthrow of Ironsi, he did not try us.
If that's all
He did not try us.
If that's all
Our leader,
He answered questions. Listen, he has asked another question.
Yes.
I don't know what you're answering. Listen to his questions.
Now, you answered questions earlier that there was a coup in Kaduna where the political leaders were killed. There was a coup in Lagos where the Prime Minister and Minister of Finance were killed, and there was a coup in Ibadan. There was no coup in Enugu, no attempted coup in Enugu.
There was.
Listen now, there was no takeover of government or murder or assassination of anybody in Enugu and Midwest.
And this I explained in my book, Nigeria's 5 Majors.
Thank you very much. Now, you did not make any attempt to arrest Iran's.
An attempt was made. In fact, I'm told that it was, if I may say this right now, that it was Colonel Pan who phoned him and alerted him and he fled.
You did not make any attempt to arrest Ojukwu in Kanu.
An attempt? You haven't read my book. You should have read my book.
I'm not interested in your book. I want to know.
Okay,
I want
an
the
attempt
facts.
was made to arrest him. An attempt was made to go on people in Kanu. And Iran, I'm sorry. I'm awfully sorry about talking about Iran. Ojukwu arrested our man. And it's in my book, and you know it. You have a copy of it there.
In Kaduna, you also killed Brigadier Ademalokun and Colonel Shodende, who were the only 2 senior Yoruba officers there.
Brigadier Ademalokun was killed. There is no doubt in that.
What of Colonel Shodende?
Shodende was killed. It's all in my book. I mean, you should read it.
Thank you very much. I want to hear what you will say on oath here, not in your book.
All right.
Okay. Like this, my lord.
There is evidence already before this commission about the coup. And my learned friend has been going on about who and who were killed. Exhibit 8 is a book written by him where in 1981, where he listed all these things he's asking him now.
Yes.
The issue here, if there are any untrue statements in the book, which is in evidence, he wants to clarify as affecting the ACF. Let him put it to him, but to continue to rehearse the evidence given before, I think.
Well, I don't want to appear as asking to make question, but in cross-examination and examination in chief and re-examination, there's this thing called notorious facts. Is that correct?
My lord, it depends.
Many books have been written. All these things are there.
My lord,
He read all of them.
He is the only surviving person who participated in the coup.
Absolutely wrong.
Was he in Kaduna?
Oath.
All right, ask.
Yes.
If there's something like notorious fact, you can address us on them. But if they're notorious, they're notorious.
My lord,
he is wrong. I'm not the only one surviving.
Nobody asked me a question yet.
You're one of the survivors.
Go on.
Now, when you are from the records, we saw that when you are being cross-examined by the council to the commission in Enugu, you said it was the North that waged war on Biafra.
The North, in fact, the first division from the North descended on Biafra from Nsukka.
Is that the first division of Northern Nigerian Army?
Of course, it is not first division of Northern Nigerian Army, but it was commanded by the Northern troops, the Northern officers and men.
And that's your basis of saying it was the North that waged war on Biafra?
I said actually it was Nigeria that waged war, not Biafra waging war on Nigeria.
So you said the North in your evidence.
It must be lipsus linguae.
Thank you very much. Now, you said it was in your book and in your evidence that the coup at 1966 January was long overdue.
That was what I felt. That was my opinion.
Do you still feel that a military coup is the best solution to political problems of countries such as Nigeria? Now, as you are there now on oath.
The situation in 1966 cannot by any means be equated to the situation now in Nigeria.
Now, do you agree? Now, what I'm saying is, Maybe you don't understand my question.
I do understand your question. In 1966, how I felt then might not necessarily be how I feel now.
Okay. Do you still believe that military as an alternative to political government or to democratic government is the best solution?
Right now that I am an old man, I feel otherwise.
Okay. And you know that that first attempt you made was the beginning of the military encouragement into democratic rule.
Very right. It is not the handover or button changing that you keep having after that.
Okay. Now the Ohanese petition and your evidence said there was to be a planned jihad on January 17th. It came from your evidence.
I said it's in my book, which was published in 1981.
Listen to my question, please.
Yes, I said so.
Now, immediately after talking about the jihad, they said the coupists.
There's nothing to talk about.
Listen now, those who planned the coup,
the coup plotters.
Yes, the coup plotters, it doesn't matter. The coup plotters were to install Chief Awolowo as the president.
That's what they plan to do.
Which of them? Those who planned the jihad or your own? Those who planned.
You talk about planning the jihad. Those of us concerned with the coup of January 66 did not plan any jihad.
Yes.
In fact, they carried the coup, they moved fast to preempt jihad. That's what I said.
Listen.
No. It's so well recorded.
No, it's no question of well recorded. You see, you planned a coup.
Beautiful.
The Ohanese petition alleged that that coup was to prevent a jihad on the 17th.
Beautiful.
The following sentence in their petition says, those coup plotters wanted to install Chief Awolowo as the president of Nigeria. Something is amiss somewhere. Is it your group that wanted to install Chief Awolowo or the jihadists? That's what I want you to declare to the commission.
The book I tendered here is very specific on it. Awolowo was to come and be the head of government.
That's your arrangement?
Our own, yes.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Okay. Now, you said elsewhere that failure to execute successfully the coup in Enugu was what led to the civil war.
Again, you haven't read my book. Or you didn't even hear what I said.
Listen, I read your evidence before the commission in Enugu. Then certified true copy from the
That's not what I said. Let me tell you exactly what I said.
What did you say?
You did a coup in July 1966. There were two coups in Nigeria.
There was a coup. I didn't
Just a minute. Let me tell you what I said.
Okay.
I said that the failure of the second coup, that is the July coup, failure of the July coup to succeed again was the one that caused the civil war. It is not the first coup.
I didn't say the first coup. I said July.
I didn't get that in July coup. You did.
Listen, you said failure of the coup in Enugu was what led to the civil war.
The failure of the July coup to succeed at Enugu was the one that led to the civil war.
How? If you can
explain. Let me explain. Because the coup failed, Ojukwu, who was the governor of Eastern region at that time, was neither killed nor arrested. Ojukwu started actually contesting the legality of governments taking over power. And it is this contestation of the legality that brought about the sharp division between the East and Lagos. All right? And it is this that led to Aburi. It is this that led to the civil war. In fact, it is the one that was responsible. And in fact, I place the blame on the doorstep of those who did the coup of July 1966. That's what I said.
So those who planned the coup of July 1966 and Colonel Ojukwu were responsible for the civil war. Is that what you're saying?
You can put it out after your fashion. What I know is that had they succeeded, you see, you were blaming January coup for not taking place at Enugu. And yet you didn't blame the July coup for not succeeding at Enugu.
The difference is that the January coup failed, the July coup did not fail.
Exactly. If January coup had failed, I wouldn't be sitting here answering questions. You would have made me Major General or something.
Now, do you believe that Igbos are being marginalized?
Of course, Igbos are being marginalized.
Okay.
Let me tell you something.
Wait, you have answered my question. Now, one of your witnesses said Igbos are everywhere in this country and doing everything. They're so friendly and they're involved in every trade and business in every nook and corner of this country.
Is that how you appreciate?
Answer the question.
Is that how you appraise marginalization?
Answer the question.
Every individual. Let me tell you what is wrong with this country.
Sorry, my lord.
Every individual
My lord, I want you to answer my
struggles
question.
on his own. Every individual. So Igbos being everywhere shows that Igbos are the best Nigerians. They are the best Nigerians. They are everywhere. They are true Nigerians.
You should have waited for my question.
But I must preempt even your question. You see, Igbos, if you are talking about marginalization, it isn't in terms of Igbos individually working as individuals.
In what context is the marginalization?
Exactly. For instance, the question of appointments, the question of things that belong to us in general, in fact, even the question of depriving Igbos of their rights. This is marginalization.
Now, you said in the Ohanese petition that Igbos are only one out of 400 ethnic groups in this country. You agree?
Could you please restrict yourself to the statements I made?
You are supposed to answer my questions. If you don't know, say you don't know.
Uche Chukwuemeka has answered that kind of question. I am dealing with January coup, and that Ohanese has partitioned everything. My compartment is January coup 66.
My friend, you are here as the witness to the commission, and it is my right to ask you questions, and you have an obligation to answer them. If you don't know how to answer, say you don't know.
The truth is that you said that I falsified else. I want to know where in my statement it is in your letter. I want to know where in my statement
I said
falsified
it is in the record of Ohanese, and you are the witness. And you agree with me that Ohanese are complaining of marginalization.
Of course.
Now, do you agree with what Ohanese said?
I agree that Ohanese is right in saying that Igbos are marginalized.
And they are also right in saying that there are over 400 ethnic groups in Nigeria.
There are too many, even more than 400.
And you also agree with what they said, that the Igbos constitute about 16% of the population of this country.
I would have said actually 25%.
Okay. Now, do you have any statistics to show that the Igbos in appointments do not have up to 25% in the federal service? Do you have any statistics?
My Lord,
you don't have, say you don't
let
have.
me answer it. Don't rush me. How can you have statistics when we don't have true census figures in Nigeria?
I'm not talking about
you are talking about statistics. Let us have census figures first.
Because we don't have census figures, then we don't have statistics.
Then you are imagining
appointments in federal.
A lot of people are dreaming dreams in this country. Some people put the population of this Nigeria at 120 million. Some said 100. Some said 100. When are we going to have our figures? True figures.
Please answer my question. We're talking about appointments. You said you are being marginalized in appointments. Do you have any statistics to show that you do not have up to 25%?
Ohanese can supply that, and I believe that Ohanese has supplied that.
They have not supplied it.
Well, you go to Ohanese to supply it. Let me go on what I know.
Now, military regimes, just like the one you wanted to bring in, come on their own. And when they rule as military regime.
Sometimes, not all the time.
Not all the time.
If you like, and name your military regimes that use civilians to get on with rulership or government.
Just like civilians use you in statistics. There was never any military regime in this country that ruled without civilians. that ruled without civilians.
Good. I'm happy you are confirming it. That's what I said.
Yes. And there was never any military regime in this country that ruled without representation from across this country.
We never ruled Nigeria.
No, I'm not.
We of January 66 never ruled Nigeria. So you are not in a position to know who should have been in the government if we actually wanted to rule Nigeria.
Okay. Now, in 1966, 60% of the officers of the Nigerian army were Igbos.
60% of the officer corps
were Igbos.
That is, in fact, an estimate, yes.
Yes. And at that time, from your evidence and your book, one of the things worrying the Igbo officers was that there was the Nigerianization of the army, and some people were insisting on quota.
You know, I took advantage of Nigerianization of the army. So I could not condemn Nigerianization of the army.
No, I'm not saying you.
What we took exception from was the question of anybody in trousers becoming an officer. That's what we took exception from.
Okay. Now, when you left the army as a captain.
Yes, of course.
Yes.
I didn't leave the army. I was bundled into prison.
Okay, and then from there dismissed or retired.
Up till tomorrow, we were not tried, so I don't know whether it's dismissed or retired.
And all this is because you were involved in the January 6th.
Exactly.
And
as I told you, even Gawan did not try us.
Yes.
Rather, he gave one of us, our leader, he gave our leader a military burial and gave him full military honors whilst he detained us. And you could kill Hiroshi for not trying us. And you left that gentleman for not trying us either.
Now, at the time you planned the coup, or you were planning the coup, you knew that if the coup failed, your career in the army is finished.
Fantastic, you are right.
Then
I knew.
Yes. Then why were you complaining that some of your mates were maybe generals?
You see, the trouble is that
they didn't plan a coup. They were good Nigerians. That's why they became major generals.
A lot of them became major generals because of coups.
Successful
and in fact,
coups.
they promoted themselves. You should have known that. Why are you laughing? You should have known that. They promoted themselves. That's why other countries laugh at us. Please go ahead.
Yes, I'll go ahead, Mr. Bully. Mr. Bully, now in your book, you tried to state the reasons why you people gathered to organize the coup.
You're right.
Now, thinking back now, do you still regard those reasons as valid?
Very.
Listen for a military takeover instead of a democratic change of government. You understand the question?
The reasons were as valid then as they are valid today. The killings in the West and the killings in TV area prompted, in fact, an action from us. And there were other reasons. No other reasons. They're all enumerated in the book I had tendered.
Now, you use the rank colonel now because you are promoted in the Biafran army.
Beautiful.
And
I prefer it.
And Ojuku also promoted himself.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I don't know. When he comes, you will ask him.
Now, from certain publications we read, credited you, you are not in very good terms with Ojuku.
I am happy you said this.
Yes.
In other words, I have my own views on every issue. I am happy you said this.
Yes.
Because I fought the war on the Biafran side. I criticized Ojuku for taking certain measures. And I'm happy you have my book there, The Fall of Biafra. I have my own views. Just as I had my own views in Nigeria when I was an army officer. And my views tallied with some views by other people.
Now, do you know that, like I said earlier, in every corner of this country, there are Igbos living peacefully with other Nigerians.
Living peacefully?
Yes, with other Nigerians.
Well, there are Igbos, correct, but living peacefully, I don't know. Because
They are being murdered at every turn. They are being slaughtered at every turn. Anytime there was any riot, they are slaughtered. And you should have known that too.
Are you speaking on facts or on what you read on the pages of newspapers?
Well, all I can tell you is that there's even a case here.
There are
Igbos
Igbos across northern Nigeria.
Probably Akaloka is living happily, isn't he? Probably.
Do you know what Akaluka did? You brought this. Do you know what Akaluka did? Do you know the facts?
Whatever he did.
Listen, do you know the facts?
Whatever he did, he should have been subjected to the rule of law.
Listen, do you know the
rule
facts?
of law should have applied.
Do you know the facts about Akaluka?
You said that I listened to the radio and I read the papers.
Look,
I read the papers.
Oh, so
all I know is that he is not alive today. To even deny what he's been said to have done.
Do you know that as a result of Akaluka, 20 houses
were
killed?
That is what you said. We have not been told this. Have you sent any delegation to Igbo land to explain the Akaluka issue? Have you sent any delegation to Igbo land?
You're not supposed to ask me questions. You have to answer my questions.
I'm sorry. I'm awfully sorry, my lord. All I can tell you is that you are begging the question with regard to Akaluka because he's not around. He's dead already.
Now, in your book, you warned Nzebu that because of the number of Igbo officers organizing the January 66 coup, it could be misunderstood as an Igbo coup.
Number one.
Did you warn him, please?
I didn't warn Nzebu. There was no Nzebu. That's number one. Number two.
I'm not an Igbo man. I may not know
you must try and pronounce the words properly. Number two, I didn't warn Nzobo. If you read my book, I was discussing with Onwatu.
With whoever you're discussing, you warned. You warned.
Now let me explain that.
Listen to the question first.
I have listened to the question. I leap ahead. Now,
no, listen, my friend, listen. I call you here to ask you questions.
All right.
And this is a court of law. This is not a military barrack, please. Now, what you said in the book is that people may understand that coup as an Igbo coup because over 90% of those planning the coup were Igbos. Is that correct?
That is not what I said.
What did you say?
What I said that people might take this to be an Igbo coup. But I didn't say 90% was not there.
Why did you say so?
There was no 90%.
Why did you say people
Good.
might?
I asked Onwatu who and who are in this. He named certain people. Although he named Ademoyega too, I felt that the Nigerian public, being tribalistic, would deem this as an Igbo coup. I said so. But that is what is called value judgment.
Okay.
In other words, not taking into consideration the facts. Now, if you read that thing down, you would have seen where he said, oh, but we are releasing now all over. You know what I said? In other words, the Yorubas are using us. You failed to read that one. You read about the in an Igbo.
I'm interested in the issue raised by Ohaneze in your petition, that it was wrong for anybody to assume it was an Igbo.
It is wrong till tomorrow for anybody to assume that it's an Igbo coup.
Well,
that person would have committed what is called value judgment. A judgment not based on facts. That was what I meant.
When you killed all the northern and Yoruba political and military leaders and you didn't kill your own?
What about Colonel Nnamdi? And by the way, let me also explain. Colonel Nnamdi was killed in Lagos.
Why?
Not because he did not hand over any key. I'm happy that IBM Haruna, a soldier, is here. He knows that no quartermaster general holds the key to anything armory.
Why was he killed?
He knows he was killed. It's in my book, which I tendered. He was killed because he was accused of making money from his job. In other words, he was a quartermaster general. He was making money from his job. So he was enriching himself. That was why he was killed.
So he was not.
So I want to correct this mistake.
So he was not a victim of that attempted coup.
He was killed.
No, listen. Brigadier Mamalari, Kur Muhammad and the rest were killed as part of the coup. This one was killed because he was making money. So he was not killed as part of the execution of that coup. Is that what you're saying?
I know there were various reasons why the coup took place.
Okay.
There were various, in fact, Hydra-headed reasons why the coup took place. Some people enriched themselves and they were killed. Some people were involved in the killings in the West and the Gibi area and they were killed. Some people did a lot of other unsavory things. By the way, they talk about killing, and I'm repeating what I said at Enugu. It was never decided that anybody should be killed.
Now, why was
people disagreed on what should happen? I don't know how many coups you've taken part in, but it is never decided this man must be killed, that person must be killed. But you depend on what you see on the ground.
So, if there was opportunity to kill, you kill. What do you mean by you depend on what you see on the ground?
These are soldiers, you know. Depending, for instance, if you are fired at, you fire back. All right? It's as simple as that. And I gave an example of somebody who wasn't killed.
Do you know where Sardona was killed along with his wife?
You know, it's in the book.
Why must I told you we need your evidence here.
The commission here has read my book. If they have not read my book, Nigerians they probably are reading it now.
Nigerians want to hear what you will say of the reason behind killing Sardona and his wife.
You talk about killing again. I was not the one who went to the house. Even though I must tell you this, I take full responsibility for the coup of January 66 because it was a collective responsibility.
Very good. Okay, are you aware of the reason from your coup plotters why Sardona was murdered with his wife?
If you don't know the reason by now, then I'm afraid you should go and find out.
My lord,
it's all in my book.
My lord, the witness should be told that he's supposed to answer.
You are whipping up emotions. I don't want to get involved in that.
It will make us progress. And then when counsel is asking, you have no right to retort.
All right, sir.
Thank you, my lord.
Sorry, my lord.
Now you said there were always reasons why they killed. Why was, if you know, Sardona killed along with his wife?
Zobo attacked Sardona's residence. Zobo, if you read the script, was attacked himself.
And that was why they had to kill him.
Zobo returned fire. Zobo, if he were alive but he's dead, would have told you exactly why he did what he did. What we wanted to do was to overthrow the government of Nigeria. To overthrow the government and stop madness.
And overthrowing the government means suspending the government of northern Nigeria, leaving the government of western Nigeria,
you see,
and then deliberately refusing to arrest Iransi.
Let me elucidate this matter. It is true that Akintola was killed in the West. And then Fani Kayode was arrested and taken to Lagos. That is the RV, rendezvous. Now, when the soldiers got to Lagos, they found that Ironsi's troops had already seized Lagos. And so they ran helter-skelter. And as you well know, some people ran to Ghana, some ran to other places. And therefore, there was no time to declare anything in the West. You should have known that.
And there was no time to arrest or kill Okpara in the East.
Again, we talked about Okpara having been receiving somebody from abroad, a head of state from Cyprus, Aisha Macarius.
You gave that
and he was arrested as soon as, and by the way, one of you was the one who took over the radio station. Even though he's dead again and he can't say his own mind. Now
listen,
it was who took over
listen, my friend, we're here for stories.
What I'm trying to tell you is
restrict yourself my answers my questions, please. Now you gave consideration to the fact that Okpara was expecting a guest.
Not expecting, he had a guest.
Yes, he had a guest.
Listen
now, listen.
He was arrested.
Listen to the question. Now, in some of the books written by some of your coup plotters, you had to wait for Sir Ahmad Bello to return from Lesser Hajj to execute the coup.
I wrote that in my book.
Yes, why did you do that? If the intention was not to deliberately kill him.
It is the truth. If you did not wait for him to return, he might bring in troops from abroad, particularly from Saudi Arabia or from any of the Islamic countries.
Why didn't you wait for Dr. Azikwe to come back?
I haven't even thought about Azikiwe because you see, he was so innocuous that, in fact, as far as we were concerned, he was not endangering anybody.
He was not because he's Igbo?
No, not at all.
Why?
There were others who were not Igbos, who were not endangering anyone. What about Awolowo? Was he killed?
Now listen, recently, you know Chief Ajuluchukwu?
I know Chief Ajuluchukwu is my brother.
Yes. He recently gave an interview, and he said Dr. Azikwe was aware of the coup, and that was why he left the country. Are you aware of that? Simple.
Say that again, please.
That Dr. Azikwe was aware of the planned coup, and that was why he ran out of the country.
If Ajuluchukwu said that,
it's not the issue. Whether you are
aware,
aware, that's the question.
No. You don't put words into anybody's mouth. If Ajuluchukwu said that, is entitled to his own views altogether.
I want to hear your surprised. I want to hear your own view.
But I would be surprised, in fact shocked, if Ajuluchukwu ever said that. But all this, I said I would be shocked because you people are prone to, putting words into people's mouths. Now the thing is this: with regard to Zik knowing or not knowing, we were anti-Zik. If you recall that Zobo talked to Sakashim Ibrahim, he said it's people like Azik and Obara and others we were looking for. If you recall, and it's written down in black and white in your own book.
That is not the question. The question is simple. Are you aware that Zik knew about the coup, and that was why?
How could I know that Zik knew about the coup? I was at Kaduna. I was resident at Kaduna.
How did you know that they killed Tafa Balewa in Lagos?
Say again.
How did you know they killed and they could not arrest Iran?
From the radio.
Why didn't you hear this from the radio? You were part and parcel of the coup plotters. You know all those who sponsored you, and you know those you dealt with.
My lord, no coup plotter. My lord, no coup plotter is ubiquitous. It's not everywhere.
You were aware that during the period you were planning the coup, there was Commonwealth Conference held in Lagos.
Of course, I know. And even when it came to a close.
And yet you killed Tafa Balewa, you killed Brigadier Memalari.
He wasn't killed on the day of the Commonwealth Conference.
You waited for them to go first.
They were not killed on the day of the Commonwealth Conference. Okay. Let me put this to you, that Obara would have been killed if...
You have no right to put anything to me, please.
It will take another 4 years before you start putting it to him.
Yes.
You got to go. My lord, I should have read law. All right, let me expatiate.
I don't want to hear it. You are aware that Brigadier Memalari was killed on his party's wedding day, the day he was organizing a party for his wedding.
I heard he was killed and I went.
Very good.
Because this is where I said everybody didn't agree about killing anybody. They had disagreements. So people were allowed to use their initiative. What you see on the ground is what matters. I went because he was my mentor. He was captain when I was an officer.
Now, were you told why Sir Mbokra Balewa was killed, was murdered, and his body thrown in the bush?
I was even told that he wasn't killed. I don't know what about it. You're talking about killing.
Yes, Sir Mbokra Balewa, you are told.
I know that when some people went to Oputa to get armored vehicle and they couldn't, they came back and found Ironshi's troops all over the place and ran away. Those who had the prime minister and dumped him in a bush. How they dumped him in a bush, I wasn't told.
No, as one of the coup plotters, did you hear the reason why he was killed?
If you read my book, you see it was zoned. I was in the north. I was at Kaduna.
Please answer my question. Did you hear why he was killed?
I wasn't told.
Was there any justification given for killing him or for murdering him?
Are you saying by hindsight or then?
By the coup plotters.
Well, you see, people were being killed everywhere, particularly in the West. And so, if I may sound charitable, well, not uncharitable, if he was party to other killings, then if he was killed, it's one of those things.
Now, since you are based in the north,
yes,
you must have heard that immediately after Sardana was killed, or maybe a few weeks after, there was this picture being circulated in markets and streets of Nzebu and Samad Bello, which some northerners regarded as very provocative.
I am happy you mentioned this.
Yes.
I was thrown into Kirikiri. Taken down.
When?
From in fact, about within the first week of the coup, I was thrown into Kirikiri with others. Now, I am given to understand much later that it was because Nelson, the publishing drum, did something in respect of publicizing Ahmad Bello. All right? No sane person would like that. But why is it that the same Nelson Orta, during the war, you took him to work for you? You didn't kill him, but you killed the women in the marketplace. Why did you do that?
My friend, listen. So I'm happy that you agreed that when Nelson Orta publishes, people naturally overreact.
Of course.
Thank you very much.
But
that's all for you.
Why did you not kill Nelson Orta?
That's all right from me. Thank you.
Why did you not kill Nelson Orta?
Yes, witness. If I call you Captain Ben Julian, will you answer?
Anything.
Let me wait a minute. Wait a minute. I will not allow a situation where it's a free-for-all fight. You listen to my question, I listen to your answer. Please restrict yourself so that we can make progress. If I call you Captain Ben Julian, will you answer?
If you call me anything, I will answer. You know why?
Just wait a minute.
Okay.
You have answered my question. I am not asking for the reasons. Probably cleverly, this book you wrote, a copy of which is before the commission as an exhibit. I'm also happy you came along with so many. I picked one outside.
Thank you.
And I'm grateful for that. This is my personal copy. Now,
It's okay.
yes, I bought it at 500 naira.
It's very cheap.
Witness, Exhibit 8 before the commission. Now, I tried as much as possible to read the entirety of this book, and I did not see any portion of it where you called yourself Colonel Bullion.
Why should I?
Wait a minute, I'm not asking you a question. Wait a minute. Similarly, I wasn't at Enugu, but I have the cassette of the sittings in Enugu, and I have the certified true copy of the transcript. You never introduced yourself as Colonel Bullion. You came into the witness box and said you are Ben Bullion.
Beautiful. That's what I know.
But whenever questions are thrown to you as Colonel Bullion, you will answer.
I will answer because you are the one committing the offense.
Now, witness, by these indices, listen to me. I have not asked you any question. I asked you only your name and you answered. So I have not asked you. Listen to the preamble before the question. So by these indices, you are agreeing that you are not colonel and that you did not deserve to be a colonel. I will lead you to.
I deserve to be a general.
Let's go to that. When did you join the Nigerian army?
I joined in 1960. 1960, March.
Yes. You are over 60 now, by age.
Of course, 62.
Yes. You were in Kaduna at the time of the coup.
Yes.
The 15th January 1966 coup, you said so. And that is not in dispute.
I've said so already.
Now, you were only a captain at that time.
Substantive, yes.
Yes. And you will agree with me, even then and as well as nowadays, it takes an average of 3 years for one to get promoted from one rank to the other in the Nigerian army. An average, some 2 years, some 4 years, an average, I'm talking of average. As a captain, probably for one to become the next rank after being a captain is to be a major.
Are you talking about now or then?
Even then.
Even then?
Yes.
Some people had accelerated accelerated.
Look, I have a retired general near me.
I
and that,
have used, yeah.
Listen to me.
Yes.
Now, you were only a captain at that time.
Yes, and he was major.
Yes, I agreed. Now, the next rank after being a captain was major. Thereafter, lieutenant colonel and colonel. Now, after the coup, you were arrested, detained, and unlawfully released.
Unlawfully released?
Yes.
I was released prior to the declaration of Biafra.
Yes, I agree, but that's what I'm saying. You were unlawfully
Nigeria.
Wait a minute, who released you?
Ojuku released us.
Okay, Ojuku released you.
Yes.
Equally an Igbo man.
Of course.
Okay. Now wait a minute. Wait a minute. Now, you were again arrested and detained for about 5 years from I think 69 to 74. You were released in 74.
The war did not end 69.
Okay, you were arrested. You were kept
from 1970 to 74.
October. About 4 years. Now
5 years.
70 to 74.
70, 71.
Okay, including 70.
74.
About 5 years.
years.
Yes, about 5 years. Now, Bembole.
Sir. Let's go ahead.
Look, I would like to extract from you. You call yourself a colonel. A colonel. You call yourself a colonel.
I don't call myself a colonel. I'm addressed as a colonel. I was gazetted as a colonel. I was treated as a colonel.
So you are not.
In fact, I love to be called colonel, but I prefer to be called general.
It appears. Listen to me, witness. Let's make progress. We're not here for jokes aside. Now, if you agree with me that you are not a colonel, then that narrows down the controversy between you and
the Nigerian army has never promoted me to the rank of colonel. Never.
Thank you for that. What about the Biafran army? Were you made a colonel?
Of course. I told you, I've said it before.
So you joined the Biafran army when?
I was released
You joined the Biafran
in 1967. I didn't join Biafran army. I was from Nigeria. Once Ojukwu released us from Nigeria, we automatically belong to the 4th Area Command of the Nigerian Army. So when Biafra went, we went with Biafra.
Listen, can I get you well, please? Are you telling this Honorable Commission that the conferment of the rank of a colonel on you was honorary by the Biafran army? That you did not deserve honorary? Is that what you are saying?
What do you mean by honorary?
In other words, you did not merit it. Was just given to you.
So honorary means not with merit.
No, listen to me. I am asking you. You are telling me
I was promoted to that rank by the Biafran authorities.
You joined the Biafran army at what rank? At what rank?
I joined the Biafran army as Captain Ben Willie.
And within a period of how many years?
This is what time, you know.
Within what period of years were you promoted to
the war lasted 30 months. 30 long months.
Within 30 months, you were promoted.
There were those who were promoted faster.
It's all right.
And I was a wounded soldier.
Now, Mr. Bule, the entire nation, and indeed most Nigerians, particularly the younger ones like ourselves, are happy to have you before this.
Thank you very much.
Yes, the entire nation. Yes.
You tell me that something called field commission, isn't it? General. Something called field commission.
Yes, there is.
Exactly. I didn't have.
I was in the army, you were not. Let me ask, field promotion.
I did not have field commission.
My lord, he is saying he didn't have it.
You don't know what.
This very video is very interesting, and we are going to get more of it. This is Oputa Panel. When you listen carefully, when they were asking Konebule, an Igbo man, a question, you will know and understand the deep divide in Nigeria. I'm going to bring another video where they were questioning somebody from the southwest, someone from the north, and you will see the way the question goes. If you have not watched this Oputa Panel, please follow us. Tomorrow I'm going to play another series of Oputa Panel. It will be series by series, so that you can understand the decay in the zoological republic. You can understand the root of the problem we are seeing today. You will know that Nigeria is irredeemable. When we say it's irredeemable, it is irredeemable. And you cannot equally understand all the lies they are telling you. My fellow Biafrans, I appreciate every one of you that have been with us on this program today. We are going to have more interesting programs coming up. In this very month of our remembrance of our heroes, we are going back to history. We are going back to programs. This Oputa Panel have huge parts that will teach you so many things, will make you know certain things that you don't understand. And after this panel, do you know that nothing changed? Things became worse. This Oputa Panel was supposed to be a reconciliation moment for the contraction called Nigeria. That was the objective of this very Oputa Panel that was put in place by Obasanjo to reconcile people together again. But how did it end? There was no reconciliation. There was no rehabilitation. And there was no reintegration. Till today, the Oputa Panel died a natural death. When you continue to listen to a series of hearings in this Oputa Panel, you will understand the deep divide in the contemporary. And you see that some people have an unforgiving spirit. That even those of us who have been offended, the Biafrans, we have forgiven and we have moved on. But the North refused to move on. The northern part of Nigeria refused to move on till tomorrow. Wherever you are as a Biafran, tighten your belt. The Islamization of Nigeria and fluency of Nigeria will never stop. It doesn't matter what you say, what you think, or what you do. It will never, ever stop. The earlier you prepare to defend yourself, the better for all of us. Don't say I didn't warn you. Don't say you didn't hear it. I said mine. It is left for you to make your decisions. Tomorrow we are going to come with another part of this program. It is already late. I've overstayed my time here. Evening program, I don't spend all to one hour, 30 minutes in evening program. But this one, we have taken it up to 2 hours plus, almost 2 hours, 30 minutes, because of how important the informations are. Join us tomorrow for another blockbuster. And may Chukwu continue to guide and protect every one of you, wherever you're watching from. Have a wonderful night. Enjoy your weekend. And may Chukwu protect you and protect our leaders. Good night, everybody. Good night.
We need peace, we choose freedom. We need peace, we choose freedom. There was a nation living in peace and unity. Yeah. They are people with love and harmony. Oh, yeah. They saw greatness rise up to its purity. With another people of different culture, ideal heritage, bias and oppressive. Oh, I see. A nation from trigger of Africa, rising with strength and might and power. In due time, nobody gonna praise us. Rather, you all gonna embrace her. With your flag, with your flag, with your flag, with your flag. Oh, yeah. Let the tears of our mothers who lost their children be heard. Let the blood of our heroes speak from now till forever. Let the whole wide world know Biafra is our home. Oh yeah, Biafra is our home. Oh, it's my home. Yeah, Biafra is our home.
I reminisce way back 1967. Death toll on the blood couldn't count them even. Mama screaming, child squealing, pops on the ground. 2.5 years, over 3 million's gone. Why? Cause we asked for our freedom, and we're going back to our sovereign kingdom. They shut us down when we cried, the world said nothing. Sitting back in the crib, watching our suffering. Should I talk about the planes dropping shells like rain? Suka had the first taste of a hero's blood. Abagana Zobuni wave was stronger than flood, but the juke is too strong and fought them off on the chart. Thought the bloodshed's gone, then it came again. 216 and the massacre, it started again. So bloody name, I couldn't cry tears. Blood dripping down my eyes, water in my veins. We died trying to fight the cause and we're trying to break him. It's our freedom, but the world was against us.
Wave your flag over Africa. Welcome people of Biafra. Wave your flag over all the world. See those people of Zion is here.
It is the nation that the Lord has chosen for the people of Zion. It is the nation that the Lord has chosen for the people of Zion.
We need peace, we choose freedom. We need peace, we choose freedom. Hey. Let the tears of our mothers who lost their children be heard. Let the blood of our heroes speak from now till forever. Let the whole wide world know Biafra is our home. I see the rising sun from Africa.